Hey, so we are back with another update. This time we have a new glass door, which I will show you right away. As you guys can see, our kitchen area is now closed off properly again. It took a little bit longer than he had initially said, but you know, it's Christmas time and everybody is a little busier than expected. We also added this little bit of a stripe area here with tape along the whole section where people could possibly run into it. And I had my logo printed on it. But it didn't quite show up the way I wanted it to. It should have been a little bit darker, or maybe I should have inverted it so that the stripe was darker and that my logo was a little bit clearer. I just need to add 2 more logos right there and right there for adult height, so that our adults also have something that they can see. Because with that stripe, it's a little low for adults, but for kids it should be enough to stop them from running into the glass. And we also fixed another thing, which was our generator had burned out. Now, I had assumed that everything was set up correctly, everything was fine, ready to go to continue working. But since it's a 3-phase generator, which I knew, but I didn't know much about generators, and everything here at our resort is single phase. So my assumption was that if it's just one phase connected, I can use all its power through that one phase and I should be okay. Later on, after I burned it out, I did some research and realized I could use 1/3 of its power the way it was connected. So didn't know that beforehand. You know, you learn from your mistakes, you don't get rich from them. With that said, we had to do a little bit of modifying of our electrical system here at the resort. We now have split off the kitchen and our 2 cabins. Since everything was connected to one wire running from top to bottom, we split that off into one phase or one section, which we're going to connect onto one phase of the generator. Next up is our house. That whole area is going to go onto another phase, and the whole upper area, which means the 2 guest rooms, our office, garage, and our basic room, are going to get another phase for themselves. And we're just gonna take the one phase coming from the street, bridge that over to all 3. That way all 3 are getting power from one phase on the street, but when we turn on the generator, we now have a properly distributed power system. Now, right here is where our power enters our garage area, the whole upper area. And the old cable is cemented into the wall itself, which I have no clue why you would do something like that. But lucky for us, they did leave us some extra room for one of the tubing where we could bring in a 2x10 cable. So a 10mm cable for all the systems in this whole area here. We have that now fitted in. I just need to get this dug into the ground still, since we just recently did it. Now all that's left to do is figure out a way to actually hook up the generator to the whole rest of the resort. Right now we have one safety switch right here, or I guess it's technically 2. And then we have another 2 in there. And I really don't like the way it is currently hooked up. And I want to put everything in a single box where you can access it nice and easy. But I also don't want to put it onto the post like this. It seems a little bit sketchy and it doesn't really look all too great. And since the other switch is right in that door, but we don't have enough room to put the whole thing or the whole panel that I want in there, which means I need to figure out a plan on how, where I'm gonna put the new panel. Now, it technically is still a little bit small for the 4 ACs that we have at the bottom section there for the kitchen and 2 other rooms. I still have to see how exactly I am gonna manage that. I'm currently thinking smart switches to just kind of, you know, shut down one of the ACs that we don't really need, because there's in one of the rooms there's 2, which can definitely be managed with just one. That way, if the generator is running, that safety switch can just be shut off automatically from the smart switch, and we should be okay to run all the rest of the power off of that generator from that point on. That is basically it for the updates this week. We also obviously cut the grass, did little things like that, and we also installed a smart switch with a new light here in this corner for that sign back there. It is now also an amber color, so it matches the whole yard with the amber vibe that we have going on, instead of the, you know, white or colder white lights that we used to have here. And I personally just prefer it a little bit more. And since it's on a smart switch, it now shuts off with our timer as well. Every time it gets to a certain point, you know, we have automatic lights in the yard. It now also is synced up with those lights. That is the new spotlight, and the cable goes down there. Right about here we have a smart switch with that little light up there. It now illuminates this whole section here, this whole corner as well during the night, but it is not as intrusive for our guests that are sleeping right in this room. So we no longer have to turn it off during the night and they can just leave it on. If somebody wants to walk there, they can see. It's enough light so you can actually get around, but it doesn't bother you while you sleep. And hopefully, if the water gets a little bit calmer on Monday, we'll be working on that whole platform, moving it to this side and prepping it so that we can actually tie our jet skis off onto it. But as you guys can see, the waves are a little bit bigger today, and there's also people out on the water, which does make it a little bit harder to work on the water to screw everything into place when you want it nice and calm. With that, we are ending today's video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. As I've mentioned before, summer is coming, so we're probably not gonna have as frequent updates, but I will try to do it once or twice a month at least. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So stay tuned for more videos just like this.